Hey guys, this is Teddy Macedo, aka bearRimshot's speaking. In case if you're all wondering where I've been, well, personal matters, I guess you say, well, yeah. And now that I'm on camera, I'm vlogging, I'm recording a vlog. I'm sure all of you guys watching this are probably going to be expecting me to make my long-awaited update vlog, for spring 2021. Especially now since my birthday has passed. However, considering certain events that recently occurred in my life as a content creator, gonna lie, but now is definitely not the time to do an update vlog for this one, But don't worry, it'll still happen, It's just that, well, if you're curious on what those so-called recent events that occur that made me feel like not doing an update vlog for this one, well, that's because, well, I just recently opened up a new poll for you guys to participate in. This time as part of my 100 subscriber celebration, which will be addressed when I get there. Not only that, but also, when speaking about specialty events, when speaking about reasons on how you can tell certain events I planned as my local ammo draft house would be on hold until further notice, can indeed involve a certain show, a certain YouTuber, all of you know I love to watch. That is, I'm talking, of course, of Anime regarding his work on animation. Look back, Was that after the thing? Well, let's just say it does come to my understanding that, as you can see, well, that is, if you are one of those people who do need to watch anime as much as I do, well, Animation Look Back Walt Disney Animation Studios Plus has yet to get into a close, And as Animat gets to close each episode of Animation Look Back, that's where you can tell it would be up to that point in time when Animat on his behalf would get to reveal whatever it is he feels like doing next. But anyways, I'm sure all of you may be wondering, what is it that I decided to talk about today this vlog? Let's just say it's been decided that for this one, I'm going to be talking about my thoughts in 2020. And oh boy, I bet we can all agree what a really bad year it was, If you think 2016 was that bad, 2020 was worse, Maybe not in every single way, but, I'm sure you may know what I'm talking about when you hear me bring up the coronavirus pandemic, Which, unfortunately impacted millions of lives, including me. Sadly, yes, I did have COVID at one point, but thankfully, not anymore. However, that wouldn't be the only bad thing that occurred in 2020. Also, when regarding the coronavirus pandemic, you really cannot deny how much it impacted on a lot of people, including myself, I could even do the same exact things I normally would do, In fact, one thing, for example, one thing that I was supposed to do at some point as soon as I possibly can, which I still sadly never got to do, even if you say, while we're still in March 2021, would be being at my local ammo draft house to celebrate 100 subscribers to my YouTube channel, Speaking of which, despite the fact that, 2020 may be the year of the coronavirus pandemic, as they say, there have been, despite all of the bad that 2020 has to offer, that doesn't mean it can never have good things, because, if 2016 can have its pros despite its flaws, why not 2020? Because it's To be honest here, each year can have its set of pros and cons. First off, let's just go on with the pros that made 2020 well, redeemable despite its obvious flaws. Now, as I was saying, 2020, back when the coronavirus pandemic just began, it would be when I finally managed to reach up to 100 subscribers to my YouTube channel, you know? Definitely a major accomplishment for me, I will say. Also, another good thing that also occurred to me in 2020, well, for my birthday last year, I got myself a brand new Switch. And when the holiday season this past year kicked in, 2020 kicked in, I finally managed to get my hands on a GPD-Win Max, which is what I will likely be using as they like to call my diet switch from now on, you know? Why not my old GPD-Win 2 as I used before? Well, the good thing about the GPD-Win Max would be, well, it is a gaming beast, as they say, you know? Definitely am more happy with my GPD-Win Max more so than I can be with my GPD-Win 2, you know? For, you know, when regarding the GPD-Win Max, it's able to run more things very well than what the GPD-Win 2 ever could, you know? And another good thing that also occurred would be, well, going back to the bad things that occur, yeah, I know I should be butthurt about the way Mr. Code treated me on Twitter last year. And you know what? And also, speaking about Mr. Code, well, another good thing that occurred last year in 2020 would include, this is where all of you out there that especially should mean you hi me Twitter for whatever reason you're watching this. That, yeah, I mean, there's a good reason now, in case if you haven't paid attention for whatever reason, in case you haven't noticed, last year, by popular demand, I officially apologized for what I said wrong about Morgan Ledger back in 2018. If you don't know what I'm talking about here, back during the entire Thanksgiving season 2018, I made a mistake. In this case, I called Morgan Ledger pedophile, which I will admit, ever since summer 2019 kicked in, I officially regretted, you know, and became really, really neglectful about it because, you know, when understanding the correct definition of the word pedophile, you can tell it's not something Morgan would do. I'm sure he means well for his own merits, you know. I guess what I'm trying to say is that, you know, when it comes to Morgan, for me personally, as much as I still enjoy watching him, I will admit, there have been things regarding how can he be as a human being which really did bug me to death, you know. Let's just say it does come to my understanding that Morgan Ledger is indeed a heterophobe, you know. And there's a good reason why you guys keep hearing me call Morgan out as a heterophobe, you know. For those who don't know, if you think, for those who don't know, it definitely does come to my understanding that guilty enough of Morgan Ledger, how it can be with my formatted Guardian, oh boy does he know how to prove what a major troll he can be. Like, from what you guys can obviously tell from how Morgan can be with the Guardian, you guys can obviously tell that he's just looking to become the next hero Wheatley. Still don't know what I'm talking about? Well, yeah, Wheatley, let me tell you all that especially means you, Harry Henry, and especially you, Heim, to another driving mutants, as well as the time it's good friends me watching this both past and present. Your Wheatley is not somebody who you want to associate with, you know? Very weirdly, let me tell you, he is a mental psychopath, you know? You do. And yeah, if you think having something to complain about regarding is always a good thing, you have no idea that you got people like your last example who know how to troll when they want to, you know? Okay, I may have caught a number of users in the past for doing things that can remind me of disregard, as I always say. But let's be honest here. People think I would lie or I mean harm or just nothing more than just a bunch of mentally retarded bozos who just have no idea what the hell they're saying nor what the heck they're doing, you know? And yeah, that is my problem with Morgan in a nutshell, you know? I mean, don't get me wrong, I still enjoy watching his content, you know? Something I come to realize in life is that, you know, there is nothing wrong with willing to help someone you idolize in the past improve his or her own craft, you know? And of course, Morgan Ledger wouldn't be the only fellow content creator I've idolized in the past, but I did consider willfully helping to improve when I feel like I need to, but only in a therapeutic sense. But anyways, yeah. The thing that always been bugging me about Morgan in recent memory would be, well, let's just say he knows how to do a number of childish things that can, well, let's just say, not only can he be guilty of doing a number of childish things when he wants to, but also guilty enough on Morgan, he sure knows, he surely has issues, he surely has issues accepting the fact that, well, that you got viewers like them who exist, who have a disability, like myself, who views like myself as example, who have a disability. And yeah, that is Morgan's problem in a nutshell with me. He just can't respect my autism for what it is. Oh, you don't believe me? Well, say if your problem with me involves asking people questions in general, like say you're one of those people who think I would, whose problem with me involves asking important questions, you are mental ableist, because, you know, these are words out here from someone who has issues getting along with people with disabilities in general, you know, your typical ableist, you know. And truth be told, as I addressed in my last update vlog, I have no problems asking people questions within reason, within a specific reason why I want to, you know? Like, for example, to reiterate on how that can be the case with me, one question I always love asking when I want to get to know anyone for that matter will be what hand you write with, whether you be left-handed or right-handed. Well, there's a good reason why I always love asking this question. Well, if I can be honest on why, well, if you're all curious on what hand I write with, this is the hand that I write with. Being that I'm left-handed, you know? And let's be honest here. There are not too many people who are left-handed as there can be those who are right-handed. If you're really one of those people who are left-handed, that's great. If you're really one of those people who are left-handed, great. If you're one of those people who are right-handed, not the end of the world, you're still cool the way you are. Well, yeah, you know. I have no problems asking questions within reason why I want to, you know. That's why, for a while, as of lately, I have no problems calling Morgan Ledger out as someone who can be guilty of recklessly discriminating me for my autism, or as I would always say in this case when I feel like it, he be somebody who would recklessly commit a number of ADA violations. Oh, you don't know what the ADA is? Well, let me tell you all for a fact that the ADA is not something to joke about. The ADA stands for the Americans with Disabilities Act, which is a law that is said to enforce where we, the people with disabilities, are supposed to be given equal treatment. But unfortunately for Morgan, he loves to talk down audiences when he wants to. Maybe not as much as Richard Guardian, thankfully, but still, he knows how to be a crook with viewers with disabilities like myself when I want to. Well, certain things I always say about Morgan is, not only does he carry little to no respect for viewers with disabilities, but also little to no respect for viewers who want privacy, and little to no respect for viewers with diabetes, See why I keep talking about diabetes, the fact that I have diabetes in public? Well, that's because, you got people like Morgan who have no idea how much Richard Guardian made such an impact on not just me, but also, if you think Richard Guardian doesn't exist, you just have no idea what not one, but two good friends of mine have been put through. Oh, you still think Richard Guardian doesn't exist? Then you are neo-Nazi for saying such things, because, I get it that you don't want to repeat what he did wrong. We all can feel that way. But saying that he doesn't exist, you're just looking to glorify neo-Nazism. You're just looking to glorify Holocaust denial. No good, because, you're clearly betraying what actually has happened to me in my life. Now, I'm not going to act like everything is regarded as perfect, but, life in general can have its pros and cons, whether we all like it or not, But anyways, as much as I was able to apologize for what I said wrong about Morgan, Legend back to 2018, if you know what I'm talking about here. One thing that I did consider get demand for to apologize for the past, what I still honestly couldn't even up to this day, would be what I said to Mr. Code about Robin Williams on Twitter. And in this case, there is a good reason behind that, Because, wishing light on Robin Williams, it's not like, when you quote-unquote wishing light on Robin Williams, it's not like he's Hitler or anything like that. And besides, death is not something to joke about, because, the funny thing about when you say this right now is about death of all things is that, when understanding how my friend Dante on his behalf can be with so many characters to get to be an epic that was both real life and fictional, whether you all like it or not, there would be this one out of very few rules my friend Dante would have in place, including a no death rule, And even though there may have been characters Dante on his behalf may include in the past, he would continue to use, on which I can be disagreeing on, I can understand why Dante doesn't like to do that. Because, like I was saying, death is not something to joke about, Plus, see why Super Smash Bros. Ultimate had to be a thing and that exists to begin with? Well, if you know your Smash stuff, if you're familiar with this one video game sequel that exists called Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, you should be able to see where I'm going, but for those who don't know, well, there's a slogan that Nintendo made up for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, everyone is here. But, yeah, So I couldn't apologize for what I said to Mr. Kid about Robin on Twitter, but, when I want to be honest how I feel, I want to be honest how I feel. And when I just can't help but do what I'm passionate about, I just can't help but do what I'm passionate about, and that's that, And the more you keep asking me to apologize for what I said about Mr. Code on Robin Williams' Twitter, please do not make me block you, for I will, If I'm done talking about such things, You may not agree with what I say, but, it is what it is, And like I was saying, that day when Robin Williams died, you just have no idea what a sad day it was. Not just me personally for the matter, but also for a lot of people. And the funny thing about that is that you should go watch my spring 2020 update vlog to see of how I couldn't apologize for what I said about to Mr. Code about Robin Williams, you know. However, if there are any other celebrity deaths that hit me hard other than Robin Williams, yes, there are. Of course, I wouldn't be a really real Disney fan without feeling hit hard about what happened to both Wayne Allwine and Rusty Taylor. There's also the actor, the guy who played Black Panther. Sad we lost him. And, I'm also sad about Christopher Plummer dying. As well as R.J. Geisel. Yeah, even Stan Lee, even though he did so peacefully. As well as Chuck Jones. As well as Tony J, also sad to see die. And, also felt it hard. And Christopher Lee. And even though, true, I may not have been born yet up to that point in time, I also would not be a really real Disney fan without hitting hard about what happened to good old Goldwall himself. And here's the thing with that. Because, you know, without Walt Disney himself, the entire Disney company would not be for what it is. Because, yeah. You know, it's a total shame that Walt Disney himself had to be one of those people from back in the day who would continuously smoke. And thank God growing up in life, I would be smart enough not to smoke, you know. And speaking about that, you also got Mr. Code who can feel the same way about it, as he's not ready to admit when he wants to. And then, of course, yeah, going back to the good stuff, I got to have my once-in-a-lifetime chance seeing both the original Shrek and Toy Story movies on the big screen. No, not at the Alamo Draft, not my local Alamo Draft House, but I wish I did. And, let's all, us here at Macedo Productions, be thankful that Caleb Corder is no longer a part of the Animat fan club, no longer headman of the Animat fan club. And why I say it's a good thing that he should be well. When we speak about Caleb Corder, if you're one of those people who hate Azuchi Guardian more for what he put me through, either that or, say, Chrissy Trotter more for what he put Animat through back in 2018, you're gonna hate what Caleb has put me through. Because, you know, Caleb, when it comes to Caleb, when getting to know Caleb Corder on a personal level, you will realize what a mental retard he is. Because, you know, he just loves slandering my name. And I remember during his final months as head of the Animat fan club, he used to bug me out to know when he wants to. Even going all Chrissy Trotter over that time when I mentioned to Tukin LDM on Twitter how excited I am in hopefully being able to meet Anna Phoenix fan fusion with the last year was as you guys all can. Till sadly never came to be. You see why Caleb? I would call Caleb as a mental retard. He'd be acting like one. He has no idea what the hell he's saying, you know. And there's a good reason why I always say how much he reminds me so much of his regard for he'd be acting like him, you know. And the funny thing about when you hear me mention how I feel bugged out I was from him during the first half of last year, you know, during his final months as headman of the fan club, you have no idea that back in 2019, funny enough. Yes, I'm done with Caleb Corder. Thank God he hasn't been bugging me in almost a year, you know. But as I was saying, I'm done with Caleb Corder. He's just a mental retard who has no idea what the hell he's saying, you know. Especially I have no idea how annoyed I can be with the fact that back in 2017 when I began independent began my life being independent living, and finishing up high school, he'd be slandering my name to no end, you know? Yeah, that is unfortunately why I'm no longer part of the anime fan club to begin with. There's nothing more than just for slanderous reasons. You know how you can tell that is the case? Well, when talking to Caleb about me, he would say that I would lie about Mike Mixtape and Stock Morgan Ledger, both of which are false. I can see of how that, yes, I would call Caleb out. I'm now calling Caleb Cork out as a retard, where he'd be acting like one, you know? He'd be slandering me, you know, like wildfire. Which can explain what those so-called grudges against him, you know? I'm done with Caleb. That is what the saying, treat others the way where you want to be treated is for, you know? Yeah, but moving on from a lot of drama, another good thing that also occurred in 2020 would be, well, another good thing that also occurred in 2020, well, let's us here at Star Wars fans here be thankful that, well, for the first time in all of Death Battle history, a character from the Star Wars prequel trilogy finally got his own death battle, being Obi-Wan Kenobi. And as my birthday would be on its way, next thing you know, the people at Rooster Teeth did another death battle episode featuring a character from the prequels being Yoda, fighting against King Mickey, you know? Which you have no idea how happy I am to see such things become a reality, but I do hope to see Mickey Mouse pit a fight against Bugs Bunny on Death Battle soon. That I'd happily pay to see if my money if I ever could see that become a reality. But in case of y'all wondering whether or not I dealt with any family loss this last year because of the pandemic, thankfully not because of COVID-19. No. And, yeah. And, even though it may be a shame that I haven't been able to travel outside New York ever since my 24th birthday has passed, nor was I able to go to my local go see a movie at the Alma Draft House, also ever since my 24th birthday has passed. At least I did have my most when I did so, and I did get to go to MagFest, where I did a special vlog discussing my thoughts on MagFest from last year, I will say. And, what you would call it? Oh, yes, right. If you fellow very loyal Ammo Draft House customers watching this on with the last movie I've seen at a single Ammo Draft House, well, shortly before my birthday kicked in, I did get to see Onward, which I will say I enjoyed watching. It's a total shame that I had to miss out on seeing Soul on the big screen, you know? Yes, I did watch it with my family on Disney Plus during the Christmas season this past year. Definitely loved it as bloody hell, I will say, you know? Kind of reminds me why I love Inside Out. Though the thing that I always love about Soul is that, you know, it's one of those movies that exists right there with Inside Out that I, as an individual viewer, can easily connect with, you know? And with the case for Soul, the thing that made me feel like connecting to that movie is more for, well, let's just say, what you would call it? Oh, yes, right. When understanding my past history as an Ardsley student, especially if you're one of those people who must be familiar with my work in Epic Battles for what it is, that is obviously where you can tell what a mental musician at heart I can be. And you know, the main character of the movie, played by Jamie Foxx, is a musician at heart himself, you know? And there's a good reason why I always say that about myself, because, you know, the funny thing about when you hear me say that is that, you know, when understanding my own, say you're familiar with my work in Epic Battles, that's where you'll notice that one of the RZ students that end up being would always get heavily used as an epic battle catcher by the name of Sofia Bavara. Well, when understanding my own past history with my own personal past history with Sofia Bavara of all people, that is where you can tell, well, I'm sure you'd be interested to know that, that I've had a lot of things in common with Sofia, especially the fact that both, when discussing what I will say will be one of my favorite memories of Sofia Bavara, I find it interesting that she is a musician herself, which in this case, she plays the flute and piccolo, And if you recall back in 2015, I am a clarinet player. If you're all curious what I've been up to with life as a musician nowadays, well, let's just say I've been much more happier doing arranging, I've always loved doing arranging, Not gonna lie about myself when I say this, that arranging is definitely easier than composing for me personally, but that is just me. And also, let's not also forget how happy I am to see Bob Chapek now take over Bob Iger's place as CEO of the entire Disney company. Does that have to do with anything? Well, not only can I be appreciative of how he handled Star Wars games, but also, the thing that made me like Chapek more so than I do with Iger is that, at least he's been nice enough to let consumers like myself enjoy the movie-going experience while watching different movies that I can watch Disney Plus however I want it to be. Like, say if I felt like running my own movie theater, would also consider screening classic movies as well. That's pretty much of how, well, nowadays, I, as the rightful owner of said movie theater that exists, now have the right to enjoy screening classic Disney movies on the big screen for the public to participate in what I want to, That's how, starting as of last year, you got movie theaters like the Admiral Draft House, as an example, who wouldn't you be able to screen hundreds and hundreds of classic movies you can watch on Disney Plus if you wanted to on the big screen when wanted to, You have no idea how much I've been waiting to do this ever since I've been fresh out of high school, And with the Admiral Draft House in Brooklyn reopening its doors on May 7th, I'm just keeping my fingers crossed to do so. But don't get me wrong, there are plenty of non-Disney movies that I like, but, I'd be lying if I didn't mention that, yeah, there are plenty of non-Disney movies I would want to see be given the Draft House recommendation, like Willy Wonka the Chocolate Factory, Jurassic Park, Sausage Party, The Simpsons movie, I Love Dogs, yeah. And I bring these movies up, I bring up movies like I Love Dogs and The Simpsons movie deserving the Draft House recommendation on purpose because, when understanding how the Admiral Draft House can be with Fox, that's where we as entire movie-going community should be thankful that for whatever reason, Disney never even bothered stopping the Admiral Draft House from screening classic Fox movies ever since Disney, for whatever reason, managed to get away in buying out 20th Century Fox, Well, okay, it may be a shame that, for whatever reason, Disney closed down Blue Sky. Definitely sad about that, But at the end of the day, let's all be thankful that, for whatever reason, ever since Disney had the guts to buy out 20th Century Fox of all things, Disney hasn't bothered protesting the Admiral Draft House on their own for whatever reason, screening endless screens of classic Fox movies, and I'm happy about that. Not only would there be movies like I Love Dogs and Simpsons, movie that I would want to participate in endless screens of, but also there'd be plenty of other Fox movies I enjoyed watching, like Fortunes of Who, the Peanuts movies, By the Skies, Ice Age, Anastasia, Titanic Eve, Jojo Rabbit, Dodgeball, even Napoleon Dynamite. Yeah. Also love watching the entire animated TV show catalog, including The Simpsons, Family Guy, and Bob's Burgers. And this should wrap up this season. This should wrap up my 2020 vlog. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all soon. Bye.